A very good evening to all, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is the 8th of June, 2023, Thursday class. So we'll be continuing our sharing from this book, Straight from the Heart, Unique Dhamma Code, by me. We are at Unique Code number 68. Okay, as usual, let us gather, have our physical puja. 南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨，南无佛菩萨。อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวาพุทธังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสวากาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิบุตตังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิอาดินาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาดัตตานะเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิปฏิปาปุจกันนะสารปดิเทนะดิเพนะตมดังสีนะติโลกาดิปังสัมบุตตังปูจายามิตโมนุทังกันดาสัมบารยุเตนะดุเพนะหังสุกังหินะปูจาเยปูจานิยังตังปูจายธรรมมุตตมังวันดากันดากุโนเปตังเอตังกสุมาสันตตินปูจายามิโมนินดาสสิริปาดาสโรโรเฮปูเชมิบุตตังกสุเมนาเนนะปุณเนนะเตนะชะโหตุโมกขัง ปูปังมิลายติยตาอิดังเมกายโยตตายติวินาสภาวังอาดิวาเสตุโนบันเทปานิยังปริคาปิทังอานุกัมปังอุปาทายะปาติกันหาตุมุตตมังอาดิวาเสตุโนบันเทปาเลปริกาพิทังอานุคัมปังอุปาดายะปาติกันหาตุมุตตมังอาดิวาเสตุโนบันเทโภจานังปริกาพิทังอานุคัมปังอุปาดายะปาติกันหาตุมุตตมัง Okay, now we shall chant the Puja Aspiration based on our understanding of the significance of these Puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition as soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free Nibbana. Making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or powers. Sharing and transfer of merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's pay respect to Puja. Padang Pujami. Dhammang Pujami. Sanghang Pujami. Just remember the first three of the four support for awareness-based meditation. The first support is relax. Relax body and mind completely. Then second support is just maintain awareness. Don't try to know. Don't try to do anything. The third support is to sustain or to stabilize this awareness. Then for those who already know how to meditate, you have developed the stability of your inner awareness or inner mindfulness, then you can do the fourth support. The fourth support is trust. Trust your nature to do the meditation. No more thought-based, no more interference from the thought process. You just maintain the stability of awareness, then stay around the heart area and let things be silent completely. All the movement activity, let it be. The natural movement, the nature, you will know how to develop the movement and the meditation within. This one is the internal movement that even initially, because you are completely silent without thought, just aware, it will locate the gateway. When it is able to locate the gateway, then there will be a activity movement which is beyond thought, beyond mind, doesn't involve the thinking mind at all. Then that movement is a natural process. Through that nature, it moves, it develops the movement, everything. So most of the time, initially, when you start to detect the gateway, the yin and yang, external yin and yang energy within your physical, they will start to, on their own, move to the gateway. Then when they move there, it like dissolve inside, like melt inside. We use the word dissolve or melt inside. Actually, it's a natural movement. Then for the form and mind that goes through this process, it will understand, it will know what is going on. Then the mind becomes very, very quiet, very still. Then after that, the internal movement created by that nature is the one that actually transforms our internal activity and movement. So that one, because it is already intelligent on its own, that nature just move and just develop the activity and the movement within. So when that thing happens, a lot of things would be developed inside. Only the cultivator of the way, who is just aware, can understand what that movement is. Then what is the byproduct of that movement? Then later on, a lot of other things will happen. That is to stabilize our the internal activity and movement via the nature, without any more interference from the external or the thought process. So that one, you cannot develop the understanding until you are there. So for most people, you may not need to know much about it. You just develop the first three until it's very stable. The first three support is good enough. It can bring about transformation to realize the sainthood way, leading all the way to arahantaship. Then after that, if you are interested in the bodhisattva way, then only you develop the fourth support. The fourth support is to develop the bodhi mind. The bodhi mind that is within your nature. That's why in the bodhisattva cultivation, bodhisattva way cultivation, it is mentioned in the Mahayana Sutta that there are 5 stages of bodhi mind development until the final realization of Sammasambuddhahood. And these stages of bodhi mind development are very useful, very important. That one, you only can develop the understanding after you develop the fourth support, which is to stabilize your awareness nature and do the fourth support, which is trust. Trust your nature to meditate. No more interference from the thinking or thought process. That nature will know how to act and move, and everything is just a natural flow. It just happens. That's why that nature, that trust, the nature will do on its own. Okay, with this, I will let you develop the awareness-based meditation. You can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Then maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. Relax body and mind, then maintain some form of attention, and we shall continue with our chanting. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atraha Gachantu Devata Saddhamang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakemokadang Dhamma Svanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Svanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Svanan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Iti peso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijja charana sampanno sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhammasarati Satta deva manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanayiko Pacatang Veditamo Vinohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Nyāyapatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samicipatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Cattari Purisa Yukani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anutarang punyang ketang lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, you can be seated, and we will continue from where we stopped. We are at Dhamma Code unique Dhamma code 68. Okay, turn to page 19. Unique Dhamma code number 68. But without wisdom, your mind will stir with likes and dislikes, born of self-delusion. So this one is quite easy to understand by now. Without wisdom, which is Yoniso Manasikara, or the Dhamma wisdom born of Dhamma cultivation, following the first, second, and third turning of the Four Noble Truths as taught by the Buddha. You will stir your mind, you will react to sense experience. This stirring of the mind is a movement within your mundane mind, the sankhara. The sankhara stir or move is because you lack wisdom. You think you exist. You think the mundane mind, the egoic mind is real, is what you are. So because of that, you believe there is a being inside there, a personality, which you cling on to, hold on to, and believe that this basic human form of mind, or the human being, is real, exists. That's why when you are born into the world, they give you a name. Then later on, they even give you a birth cert. Then with the birth cert, you gain your identity. Then later on, they even want to create more things. Identity card to identify you. Then passport to identify you further when you travel. Then when you go to school, registration, everything you want to own or buy, you need to put in your identity, your name. This is how the Sakayaditi or self-delusion develops over time. We call this the conditioning from society, from your culture, your belief system, or whatever that actually influence you or educate you when you are young. So all this is what delusion is all about. But when you meditate, you develop understanding, then you realize that the human being is not what you think. The form of mind is not what you think. And beyond this form of mind, the so-called living being or human being, there is another nature within each and every one of us. Unless you can meditate to realize that nature, you may not understand who you are, what you are. Unless you are able to be mindful within a way, to develop the silent awareness, to observe, to see things clearly as they are, to insight into phenomena and to awaken to truth, to the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. You can never penetrate the Dhamma to realize the non-self nature, anatta nature. The Buddha called it anatta. Anatta is a very good word. Its meaning is very deep. Most of the time, the English translation, they just translate it as non-self. Actually, the deeper meaning is beyond that. Means it is not a permanent, unchanging entity that you can cling on to, hold on to, and grasp onto and say, this is me, this is I. Therefore, this one can own things. All this can be mine. This is a delusion, self-delusion. You believe you exist. So to break that delusion, you need to meditate. You need to develop the inner awareness, silence your mind, to observe clearly and awaken. That's why once you have the wisdom developed, then unique code number 68, you can understand. That's why I describe it very clearly under this unique code. I say, but without wisdom, your mind cannot be at peace. It will definitely stir, move, or react to sense experience. Sense experience means whenever you live life, you have to use your senses to perceive, to know the world. So every moment of consciousness, your mind that doesn't have the wisdom, it will stir and it will create the reaction of mind. Your sankara activity will move because of this sakayaditi, self-delusion. And the main culprit behind is avijja, ignorant of nature's truth, all of truth within nature, especially spiritual truth. So when you don't have the clear understanding of what is Four Noble Truths are, then you develop what they call ignorance, avijja. And the most difficult to break of all the avijja is sakayaditi, self-delusion. So that's why whenever you try to go into life, when you are active within life, your mind, with the senses, they will continue to operate. And they operate very fast, because when you are engaged in life, you have to see, you have to hear, you have to smell, you have to taste, you have to tactily feel, and at the same time, think. So all this activity, the six senses, they manifest very fast. They move very fast. That's why sometimes you may think you can multitask. And most of the time, human beings without awareness within, they think a lot, they become heedless. Most of the time, they are lost in thought, thinking, planning, and worrying about life. Then they complain about life. Then they react to sense experience to develop the duality of like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant sense experience. These two are the basic mental hindrance. We call it sensual desire and ill will. All of your like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant sense experience, they can be broken down into sensual desire, which is positive craving, and ill will, which is negative craving. So these two, they are called mental hindrance. Because when they arise, they hinder your mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. There is no stability of awareness within. Once your mind stirs, sankara activity moves, thought arises. Then that movement creates the phenomenal world, the duality within existence, like what we have gone through. So that is the starting of the mundane mind activity. If your mind does not stir, there is at peace. At peace means no activity. Means that is the true mind, the silent mind, before it's stirring, before its activity and movement. So this part is very important and must be understood by cultivator of the way. So I read again. But without wisdom, your mind will stir with likes and dislikes, born of self-delusion. which I have explained. Dislike and dislike are mental hindrance, which will hinder your mind from entering the meditative states of inner peace and inner awareness. This is the reason why you are not peaceful. You cannot meditate. It's because you lack wisdom. And to have wisdom, you must have the spiritual faculty of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and finally, of course, Panya. Panya is the final byproduct of the 5 spiritual faculties. So when your 5 spiritual faculties are very stable, developed very well, your 5 mental hindrance, they will cease to be. They cannot arise. So when you don't have mental hindrance, what does it mean? It means you are always in the meditative state, where these are what Sati and Samadhi is. The meditative mind, the silent mind, the true mind is just Sati and Samadhi. Yeah. That mind that is completely silent and just aware. When it has the stability, it becomes Samadhi. Means that mind is unwavering, collected, always in the state of tranquility, stillness. It's just aware, that's it. Then the next code is also very important. Unique code number 67. The previous session I mentioned a bit, I think during the Q&A when we were doing the sharing. Then Sister Alicia described her understanding and she mentioned about this. Sinh Wei Cân Bẩn. So Sinh Wei Cân Bẩn, for those who know Mandarin, you will understand. Sinh is mind. It means you have to start your meditation from basic understanding of what mind is. That is where you start. Because the Buddha, in his Dhammapada verse 1 and 2, the twin verse, the first 2 twin verse, famous one, he said, our mind is the forerunner of all things, and mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. Means everything is created by the mind. 一切唯心造. So when you listen to this, you will know mind is very important, because when mind arises, all things arise. And everything is created by the mind. So without the understanding of mind, you cannot meditate. You cannot understand what is going on. So to develop the cultivation, you must start with mind. The basic understanding of mind is very important. Ask yourself, what is this word, mind? Then why the Mahayana give it the term, sing? Actually, in Mahayana, sing is also the heart. The heart is also called sing. But why do they use the word like no difference? Mind is also sing. Heart is also sing. There is a deep meaning behind, basis. When you cultivate, you will understand. But the English language and most of the other language, I realize they don't understand. They use different words for the two. Of course, the normal mind, the English word also have mind. They only know mind, but they don't know what this mind is, apart from the thinking and the activity and what human being can do, the mental aspect. Whereas the Buddhist teaching, as taught by the Buddha, is more profound, more in-depth. to understand the mind. That's why the Buddha break it into the 5 aggregates of Homage mind. Then the 4 aggregates of mind, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. He described it very well, and he developed a lot of understanding out of it. Very easy to comprehend. So once you ask yourself the question, what is mind? Then you will be able to investigate into it through the meditative nature or the meditative training. Whereas the English people who seldom do meditation, who doesn't develop the spiritual understanding, they don't know that the heart and the mind are related. That's why they have 2 different words, mind and heart. But Mahayana, the Mandarin word, both things have the same word. Mind is also called sing, heart is also called sing. Because this is where the seat of consciousness is, our heart. From there, the consciousness arises, the mundane mind arises. This is also where the gateway to our nature is. That's why the heart is that place. All your emotion, all your sankhara emotion or mental emotion, mental activity, movement. The emotion part is always from the heart. But the sankhara thinking, the concordings, sankhara sanya is always at the brain there. Because that content of consciousness, that thought process is always at the brain there. You need the brain to arise the thought. That's why if you are completely aware and silent, you will be able to observe how you create thought. You can see the birth and formation of thought, how thought come to be. Before thought arises, when you are without thought, it's just your nature, spacious awareness without anything. All this you have to see to understand. Then you awaken. You are no longer deluded. Then you will understand why J. Krishnamurti say, thought is limited, thought is egoic, thought divine, all this. But you see them in your meditative training, your daily life, your formal meditation. You can observe them, see them, and understand them. So basically, when you silence your mind to meditate, you will come to realize, as a human being, we have 2 minds. That is where you start. To realize that is very important. But most human beings, without the Dhamma understanding, without the meditative training, you can only know one mind that you always use, the thinking mind, the mundane mind. And you don't even know what this thinking mind is all about. You know that you have this faculty inside you, your ability to think, ability to perceive, to feel, to become conscious, to plan, to scheme, to develop all the cunningness, the what they call mind states of fear, worry, anxiety. Then it can also develop positive mind state of tranquility, stillness, peace, calmness, or what they call spiritual joy. So all these are various mind states that can manifest. And these are all part of sankhara within your mundane mind. So, to understand all this, you must meditate, you must silence your mind, develop the ability to be aware. Then see the movement from the awareness, how thought come to be. how sankhara come to be, how feeling come to be, how perception, how all this movement and interaction operate within your mundane mind, your thinking mind, how you depend on the senses, basic senses together with the brain and the external sense data to develop contact with mind, to trigger off the sense door consciousness. And all this is what meditation is all about. If you cannot see all this, you cannot understand all this, then you are like deluded, ignorant, blind. Okay, now I read the whole unit code 69. Maybe after that you can understand. Sinh Wei根本 means you have to start your cultivation from basic understanding of mind. First aspect of the understanding is to understand that you have two minds, namely the mundane mind and the true mind, not as a knowledge, as a reality through your meditative training. When you silence your mind, that's why I used to ask you all, without thought, who are you? What are you? Then what is this five aggregate of form and mind? If they are not you, then why do they arise in you? Then who are you? What are you? That is the mystery that you must resolve through meditative understanding. Then the true mind, or the self-nature within, is the unborn, unconditioned. Whereas the mundane mind is your thinking mind, which is condition arising within the conditioned world. So this condition arising means is dependent originating, not a permanent unchanging entity. Everything is in a state of flux, interdependent, interacting. Yeah. So here, the further explanation of what the true mind is very important. You must not only read it as a knowledge, you must find out, investigate, and realize them. When you realize them, technically you don't need words. You will know what that thing is. That's why you don't have to remember. It's not a knowledge. Then you will know how to express it. You will know how to describe it, because that is what your nature is all about. So from there it manifests. Then likewise, when you are aware and mindful, you see all the movement, the activity, the thought process, the paticca samuppada, the dwelling, the dependent origination, law of dependent origination that the Buddha spoke and taught. So all this will become very clear. So starting with mind as the basis of understanding meditation is very important. So all cultivation must start from basic understanding of what these two minds are. When you understand them, then it's easy for you to meditate. If you don't know you have two minds, one, the true mind, your true nature, your awareness nature within. Some call it the self nature, but the word is not appropriate, but it's nothing to do with you. But here they refer to your true nature. The nature that is before the arising of thought, before the thinking, the sankhara activity. So with this, you start, then meditation becomes easy. Then I further explain what the true mind is by sharing with you unit code number 70. So true mind does not stir, means it is true suchness. That's why Mahayana got this term, Ru Ru Putong. But that is the nature. suchness. Zu is suchness. It comes from the word Zu Lai, means Buddha. July 4, suchness, the Buddha. So Lu is suchness, true suchness. The true mind is of that nature. Only the mundane mind stir via delusion. Mundane mind without wisdom is your discriminating mind. This is the one that creates karmic. Phân biệt sinh. It discriminates and stirs your mind into like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant sense experience. So if you were to meditate on it, silence your mind, investigate into all this, then you start to understand. Then later on you contemplate. You develop the reflection, the inquiry. Then your mind will develop the understanding in a very clear manner. Means it will assimilate all this earlier understanding and stabilize it. When it starts to assimilate and stabilize the understanding, your yoniso manasikara will start to arise. Wisdom will start to develop. When you have them, this will come out and prompt you in the midst of life, when you live life. At every moment of sense door consciousness means every moment of seeing, hearing, smell, taste, tactile or thought process. You will have this wisdom within to prompt you. That's why at the moment of seeing, your mind will not stir, will not react. That Dhamma understanding, the initial wisdom of Yoniso Manasikara will prompt you and let you develop the Dhamma understanding. Then you will not be deceived, you will not be deluded. Then all this phenomenal world of consciousness and form will not have power over you. It cannot cause heedless thinking and delusion in you. Your mind will not stir, will not react. It is most of the time at peace. It can come to terms with the reality. Then remain tranquil, still, at peace. Then it live life. It act. It can still act. It can still live. That's why the action is from wisdom, from understanding, following the Dhamma way. Nothing to do with the thought process, the mundane mind, the memory. Where if you were to meditate and investigate, you will come to know all of your sakayatiti and delusion come from your mental activity born of sankhara. Means you act according to memory. What is memory? Because you didn't investigate. Memory is all your conditioning, your accumulated memories. Whatever you experience, all of your life experiences, good and bad, you accumulate them, you store them up as memory. And all this memory, you look at them, you develop all the evil root and rubbish inside there. Most of them are there. Your phobia, your insecurity, your psychological fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow and lamentation, remorse, unhappiness, deep resentment, hatred, jealousy, envy. They are all inside there. Even your fear, your insecurity, your phobia, your lack of peace, your craving, your desire, your attachment, your clinging, your grasping, your belief system. All this actually mold you and make you deluded, heedless. That's why you think a lot. And when you think, you project your thought, you develop the fear, the worry, the anxiety, the sorrow, the lamentation, the deep resentment and unhappiness. Then when you experience life, you have relationship, you have attachment to your relationship. Relationship doesn't mean that only fellow family members relationship. You can also develop attachment to your dogs, cat, pets. Sometimes you develop attachment to your good friends, your good neighbors, or sometimes it's not necessarily human. It can be anything. Then sometimes it's to your antics, things that you hold on to dearly. You give importance to. Even your reputation, your title, your property, your wealth. So all this attachment, they arise through memory. You recall them, you miss them. That's why the first noble truth reality, the Buddha said, there is a noble truth of dukkha, is it? When there is separation from all these things that you cling onto, grasp onto, hold onto, and believe they are real, dukkha arises, suffering arises. And how the attachment, craving, grasping, clinging come about? Because you accumulate them through your memory. That's why acting according to memory is not acting at all. Memory keep on recollecting, give rise to all the old thinking, old thought process, old memory of what has been. It can be your relationship with anything that I described just now. Most of them attached to family members, good friends, parents, children, and sometimes to their, nowadays a lot of people keep pets, their dog, their cats. Some they have rabbit also, I was told. Then the other one is what? The one like a mice on a run around, hamster. So human being, they keep a lot. Some like fishes, say. Then without you knowing, because they are so cute, and at times so friendly, so mischief. So all this can create attachment without you knowing it. Then all relationship is a prelude to suffering if you cling onto it, grasp onto it without understanding. If you lack mindfulness, if you lack awareness within, you cannot live life. Because you think a lot. You have a lot of emotion, sankara activity. And your emotion is how it actually finally cause you suffering, harm you. Because when you grasp, cling and hold without knowing that all these are impermanent, separation is a reality, it will happen. So when it hit you, your memory will be triggered. You will become like very miserable, very unhappy. Why now? Why is God so unfair? How come? Then sometimes you develop unnecessary remorse through your thought process. You think you make a mistake. You didn't take care of them well enough. So all this is part and parcel of what the mundane mind is, the thinking mind is. So without awareness, you cannot see, you cannot actually free your mind and go beyond. Then you get yourself entangled in life, and the Four Noble Truths become a living reality, especially the First Noble Truth. Then when you have to confront them without the Dhamma understanding, suffering will arise. That's why the first noble truth of dukkha is very powerful. But these are realities of life and existence. You cannot accept what happened and move on. You will suffer. You will cling on to your memory, to your past. Then this one will create a lot of possibility. So all this is what human psyche is all about. So when you lack understanding of the Dhamma, lack mindfulness and awareness, you cannot deal with life. Life is not easy when you don't have the Dhamma, the understanding. So this is what meditation is all about. Understanding mind, basic. From there you start. So this basic understanding of mind is very powerful, very important. And there's another unique quote. Okay. Unique quote number 71 and 72. These two are very important. Unique quote 71. This one is an extension of Unique quote 70. The first aspect is just to know that you have two minds, the true mind and the mundane mind, the thinking mind. After that, you investigate into it, you develop clearer understanding of what this mundane mind is all about. Then observe how it creates delusion in you, how it creates all the attachment, the clinging, the grasping, the craving, the whatever. So all this, see it clearly. Then the second aspect of Sinh Wei Ken Pen is to understand that all mind state, whether wholesome, unwholesome, evil and non-evil, etc., they all arise when the mundane mind stirs. This one is very important. That's why karma is about understanding the mental intention behind. So all this activity, whatever that arises within the mind, these are sankhara activity, mind states. Then they have the influence of wholesome and unwholesome. The moral causation means whether there are evil roots within. When there is no evil root, then they are wholesome mind state. When there are these evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, then it gives rise to unwholesome mind state. So this is basic understanding. This basic understanding of the mundane mind and the self-nature or the true mind or the supramundane mind is very important. Because from here, you will understand why the Buddha said under Dhammapada verse 1 and 2, the twin verse. If you want to understand life, you have to understand the twin verse. The Buddha, first two Dhammapada verse, make it very clear. Both also he said the same thing. Our mind, he talked about the mundane mind first. Mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. Everything is created by the mind. So when you understand this, he says, if you continue to be heedless, then you will act, speak, and think with a heedless mind that has the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Then suffering will follow you, like the hood that follow the calf of the bullock. So all this is very clearly explained and defined by the Buddha. So the Buddha said, your life, you decide. If you choose to be heedless, you don't want to train your mind, then Dhammapada verse 1 will take its course. Suffering will follow you. like the wheel that follow the hoof of the cart. Then Dhammapada verse 2, the Buddha said, proclaim the same thing. Your mundane mind, he said, mind is a forerunner of all things, mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. If you understand this, you will take care of mind. Because mind is responsible for all this. So if you are mindful, heedful, then you will act, speak, and think with a heedful mind. That is without the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. If you act this way, then happiness will follow you, like your shadow that never leaves you. So Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 is very clear. You hold the key to your own life destiny. To be happy or to be unhappy is entirely your choice. So if you choose to be happy, then determine not to be heedless. Determine to be heedful so that you can avoid all evil. Avoid Dhammapada verse 1. Then strive on with heedfulness to cultivate Dhammapada verse 2. May train your mind to be aware, to be heedful, understand what constitutes evil. Then be mindful, be aware, meditate. Then develop the understanding so that you are always heedful in the midst of life. Then the Buddha said, heedfulness is the path to the deathless. The heedful never die. Whereas if you are heedless, heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedless are as if dead. So all these are clearly described in the teaching. So this heedfulness, Apamada verse is verse 21 to 40. But the most important one are the first three, 21, 22, and 23. They are all related. They explain to you how to develop heedfulness. And from there, when you have developed heedfulness, you are destined for enlightenment. That's why all the three, verse 21, 22, 23, they are all connected. And they describe clearly enlightenment in the here and the now. So all this, the teaching is already there. Whether you understand or you don't understand can make a big difference. And when you have developed the understanding and yet you don't want to strive on with heedfulness to cultivate it, it's also your choice. Nobody can decide for you or help you. Like the Buddha said, he can only show you the way. You have to walk the path yourself. So the Buddhists also created a Buddhist hymn on this. Buddha merely showed the way. We ourselves must walk the path. Buddha merely showed the way. So this is all very clear, crystal clear. Don't wait till you are too old and too late to develop all this. So wherever you have the condition, opportunity, and the understanding, determine, strive on with heedfulness, cultivate this understanding. Okay? Okay, then verse 72. So this is also related, is very important. Once you understand all this verse, you become different. Then you can develop the understanding of the Dhamma very easily. When you meditate, you also meditate differently. Because through this understanding, your meditation becomes different. All these are pointers to guide you. Unit code number 72. One must understand what these two minds are, so that one can understand clearly who are you and what are you. Then the first Mahayana sentence that teach about mind is 无念是真心, So this one is a very powerful explanation. He said, without thought, that is your true mind. You remember last time I used to give you the Kongan? Without thought, who are you? What are you? Without thought, there is only that nature within, the true mind, the silent mind. Where thought is the activity that create out from that nature, the true mind. So the mundane mind, they arise from that true mind, the silent mind, the awareness nature within. That's why the first thing to come out is a pure awareness. Then we all, through our delusion, conditioning, belief system, memory, we input the content of consciousness and it creates a thought, which is a fine aggregate of form and mind. You can see in the chart on the whiteboard. So once you create that fine aggregate of form and mind, here is the beginning of the mundane mind, the thinking mind. So this is the beginning of creation. From the pure awareness, you input the content of consciousness, it goes in, become namaru. At this level, it's still pure vijnana, the pure awareness. Oh, can't see, sorry. Okay. You all can see. Good. Okay. So from that nature, the first thing to come out is a pure awareness, that pure nature. And because we have our senses, we have our memory, our brain, our thinking, we introduce the content of consciousness. Initially, it was pure, spacious awareness. That whole oneness nature is your true mind, your true nature. Then because you have this ability to create thought, through what? Through shrinking that spacious awareness into a small space that you want to perceive. It can be anything that you want to perceive through your seeing consciousness or hearing or smell or taste or tactile. So when you shrink it, that spacious awareness becomes a limited space. Then you perceive, stir and create a content. Mental intention, everything, your belief system, your conditioning, your whatever defilement or whatever, it just go in. And when you go in, Vijnanang Pachya Namarup, the five aggregate of form. And this is the mundane mind, the thinking mind. And this is where, from here, it projects and creates the phenomenal world of consciousness. The phenomenal world of consciousness, everything that you come to perceive within the conditioned world, the phenomenal world. So this is what life creation is all about. So when you start to create from here without understanding, then you will grasp, cling and hold to all the creation that I explained just now. We are the first noble truth. When you lack that understanding, these are reality of life and existence, the eight conditions. So when you confront them without understanding, then you grasp, you cling, you entangle, suffering arises. That's how all this movement happen. So when you understand that, then you know how to reverse it. Retrospectively, reverse all this understanding, straighten your view. Then do not be deluded anymore. See clearly how all this movement come to be. The five aggregate of form and mind, the Namaru, they follow this law of dependent origination that the Buddha taught, Paticca Samuppada. Or they call the 12 links, 十因缘法, the 12 conditions arising, dependent originating Dhamma. From there, it manifests the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. But there is no being inside there. Everything is dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena, not a permanent and changing entity. Hence, non-self, not real, not what you think. You cannot grasp, you cannot hold, and you cannot cling. And you must not have the delusion to say, this is me, this is I. Therefore, all this can be mine. That's why when you don't have the meditative, penetrative understanding to see and realize all this, then you will be deluded by what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you tactile, you feel and think. Because the ego is there. You will believe that every moment of seeing, there is an entity that see, I think, I hear, I smell, I tactily feel, and create all this thought. Then you will believe you are the thinker behind all this thought process, which is very logical. But I already taught you all, if you were to meditate and silent, you will come to know all these are delusion. No such thing. We have already gone through last time the analogy of seeing. We have the inquiry. We start off with asking the question, who see? Then the normal answer is, I see. Okay, I see. So who is the I? I lah. So what is that I? Then you will come to know, without the I, you cannot see. And then they move from the I, the capital I, to the EYE, I. My eye see. Very logical, isn't it? Then we say, the dead man opened the eye, does he see? He doesn't see, isn't it? What is the understanding? Means seeing, like the physics experiment, is dependent originating. Everything must be in that state of functional condition, then only it arises. Otherwise it cannot. So, when you understand all this, then you will move on further. Because you say, the mind see. There you move on. Instead of the I, you say the mind see. Okay? So the blind man has mind, isn't it? Don't have eye. You put him in a dark room or in a normal open, he also cannot see. Why? Because that organ of the eye alone does not see. Seeing is dependent originating. The dead man cannot see. Okay? The blind man also cannot see. So how does seeing comes to be? When you're silent, you become different. You develop the awareness to be aware of what is going on. Then you come to one realization that I alone doesn't see. Mind alone also doesn't see. The blind man has a mind, also cannot see. So what is seeing? You must have all the three conditions in place. Means the eye that is functional, not blind. Understand? Then you must have a living being with the mind. Then there must be contact of external sense data with the organ of seeing and the consciousness. That upon contact, like the light bulb, it lights up. You become conscious of what you see. That is how it functions. Dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomenon. Then you come to realize there is no one inside there to see. Everything is just dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomenon. Then when you are mindful and aware, you also see how you create thought. The birth and formation of thought, how it actually come to be. And when you see that, then you realize there is no thinker behind the thought. Nobody. That's why the baby, newborn, without memory, He cannot create thought. He or she cannot create thought. It's later. That's why Krishnamurti also understand. He came out with a very wise and powerful statement. He said the beginning of memory is the beginning of registration. When your brain starts to register, memory starts. Then when memory arises, thought is respond to this memory. Without thought, there is no memory. This one I think I haven't taught you all. I mentioned before, I think I better write it down. That's why luckily I created some space up there. Okay. So I write it down. But the first one is what? The beginning of memory is registration, isn't it? So the beginning of memory is registration. Your brain starts to register. Then thought is respond to memory. So these two, you have to find out in your meditation. Realize this. But of course, you tell me, Bratio, I'm already so old. All this happened when I was young. I cannot remember. So you don't have to remember. You actually develop this understanding. Can you understand this sentence? Beginning of memory is the beginning of registration. It's very easy. If you don't accumulate and register all the things that you learn, do you have memory or not? That's why memory is what? All your accumulated things, isn't it? And what is that? Your knowledge, isn't it? So this fellow is your knowledge. This fellow is your knowledge. So this is what knowledge is all about. Because memory is actually knowledge, because you accumulate them, you register them. You understand? So beginning of memory is the beginning of registration. That's why his statement is very powerful. The moment I heard that statement, I straight away understand. And I use the word registration as accumulation. So this one, same word you can use, or accumulation. Accumulation. So slowly develop all this understanding. Then when you meditate, you silence everything. Then you check. From your awareness, you can check how memory actually create all the content of consciousness and input them. Well, initially, before you have the Dhamma understanding, you use memory a lot. That's why you act according to memory, your brain, which is what you have accumulated. All your views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, phobia, everything is there. Your insecurity, your envy, your jealousy, your rubbish inside there, psychological rubbish, they are all there. So from here, it trigger of thought. As I thought is respond to all this knowledge and memory. As I thought is limited. Why? Because you shrink the spacious awareness into a limited space. And everything that your thought know or understand, create, is within that content that you input, understand? Out of it, you cannot be aware, you cannot understand. That's why thought is limited. Thought is of the past, never new. That's why it's within the field of thought. It cannot touch awareness, whereas awareness is beyond thought. Everything out of that space, the whole of that nature, the oneness, the awareness can actually come to develop the understanding. That's why it can observe, it can see, it can awaken, it can insight into phenomena. All this is what meditation is all about. When you are aware, when you can develop the awareness to observe all this, understand all this, and awaken, then you go beyond thought. You liberate your mind, you free. Then the phenomenal world of consciousness, the form and mind, has got no power over you. It loses its ability. So here, after I explain this, you will understand the next two quotes. 无念是真心 means without thought, that is your true mind. So always remember, don't try to know, don't try to do, don't even try to think. Because to realize your true mind, you must stop the thinking. But without wisdom, without understanding, you cannot stop the thinking. Because mental hindrances are there. You need a spiritual faculty to actually stabilize your mind. Then you can be in the state of awareness, a free mind without thought. No need to be in concentration. Then you will understand 无念是真心. When you relax, maintain awareness, and this thing stabilize, then you realize this is not a knowledge anymore. Then the other one is the opposite. 动念即无明. When you stir your mind, there is delusion, avijja paccaya sankhara. So movement of thought is by the mundane mind born of self-delusion. Then the other one is tranquility of mind, 心静, the quiet mind, the silent mind, the still mind, or tranquility of mind. So this is your true mind. That's why they always share in Mahayana with you, develop the 清净心. Understand? That is your silent mind. Your tranquil, still mind. That is your true mind. And that is the first hallmark of winning. Okay? So with that, we end. Huh? So now we can begin our second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by any Q&A, question and answer, or anybody who wants to share what we discussed today, or bring up whatever meditation in daily life experience that you have gone through and develop as understanding, so that we can share with all the Kalamitas.
Yeah, good evening. All Kalamitas, brother
Yeah.
and Mr. Steele.
Yeah.
I have nothing to share this time.
What about today's topic? Today's topic. Can you follow?
Today's topic, brother, just now talking about the people using what to see to see. Let's see whether I got it. A functioning eye, so that it is working on a functioning eyes, not the blind people. Okay. One. Two is we need a mind.
Yes.
The third one, the what? Consciousness. Because brother say three things, so I remember one is the functioning eyes.
The other one is the sense data.
Yes, I hear data and I hear consciousness. I think got three, got four. So I got
No, there is only three. You got the organ, EYE.
Yes,
then you have the sense data, and you have the mind.
so
come into contact, like the physics experiment, the light bulb light up. The lighting up is like consciousness. There is nobody inside there. It's just that consciousness. The lighting up is a consciousness. That nature trigger of the consciousness. That's why it become the mundane mind with the pen. So that's why in the example where they say I see, then I ask them who is the I. Then they realize they are wrong. Without I, you cannot see. So he or she think they are smart. My eye see. Then I ask, a dead man open the eye. There is no seeing there. Then they move on, they say like that. Like that, maybe you need the mind see. Then the blind man has the mind. You put him in the, the one with the eye, you put him in the dark room, without light, without external sense data, he also cannot see. He need light to see, to perceive and see. Then the blind man has mind but don't have organ. That's why he also cannot see. So the conclusion is, mind alone don't see, eye alone don't see. Then without the condition for the external sense data to come in, you also cannot see. So what is seeing? Seeing is dependent on the three things. You must have a functioning eye, you must have the consciousness, and you must have the external sense data. Means the mind, the consciousness is the mind, understand? Then the sense basis, EYE, the eye. Then the sense data, which can be color, shape, or form. But you need the light to allow the perception to perceive and bring it into mind. So these three must come in and make contact to trigger off the seeing consciousness. That's why the Buddha said, in the seeing, it's only the seeing consciousness, no one to see. Can follow?
Yeah, Bro, can, but I think I'm still using my memory to memorize because
knowledge, because you didn't have the
mm,
stability of mindfulness to be aware of all this. When you have the stability of mindfulness to be aware of all this, then you realize everything that moves within your sankhara activity, they are dependent originating, condition arising. That's why I say you will come to understand how you function as a human being, how you have these faculties of seeing, hearing, smell, taste, tactile, and thought process. So this one is not somebody inside there responsible to create the seeing, understand? Not? There is no soul inside there that is responsible for your seeing, understand? Not? Because when the consciousness separate from the form, there is no more life, understand? Not? So no more seeing, no more hearing, no more smell, no more taste, no more tactile and thought process. So when all this separate, it ceases. That's why it's dependent originating. But when the consciousness come in with the senses, you can trigger your understand, animate it. Then if you are mindful and aware before you input the content of consciousness, then you understand what the Buddha meant. In the seeing, there is only that consciousness, the seeing consciousness, no one to see, until the content of consciousness go in. Then the egoic mind trigger the atta, I see. So all this, you must have mindfulness, stability of awareness to see, to awaken. But when you contemplate and reflect with all this understanding, then it's stabilized. That's why I don't have to remember anything. I can just share like that. Why? Because this is the understanding that the nature already gone through, developed. And it know what this thing is. It's a matter of explaining it to people, sharing it with people. So stabilize your mindfulness, your awareness, then develop the contemplative wisdom later on. When you are in the meditative state, daily mindfulness, see the dependent originating movement, all the activity, the dwelling, paticca samuppada. Can you be at the moment of contact before the content of consciousness go in, before the feeling arise? Then when the feeling arise, can you be at the moment of feeling before it's conditioned into craving? Without wisdom, you can't. Experiment with all this, investigate all this. Then when your mindfulness and yoniso manasikara develop very stable, then you realize what I share with you become possible. You can be at the moment of contact, no movement. At the moment of feeling, you remain as pure feeling, no craving, no movement, nothing. This is only possible when you have the understanding and the stability of mindfulness. That's why to see all this, the 12 link, the Paticca, to understand the Buddha's teaching, you must have stability of mindfulness. You must be heedful in the midst of life. Otherwise you can't. Then that realization becomes an awakening. Then you liberate from your what they call sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. The mind liberate. You can rise above, free from the sakkayaditthi, the avijja. Then the mind that break free through wisdom realizes the truth and become different. That's why it will have all this understanding. That's how the form mind will see all this very clearly. Then it will straighten its view, no longer grasp, no longer cling. It will reverse all the Then the next time they see something, they understand. In the seeing is only the seeing, no one to see. Then the content of consciousness, how it goes in, how the memory, all these things. That's why my initial can share with you because I saw all this movement and develop all this understanding. So memory is full of this type of rubbish. That's why I realized later on after 1989, after I had the Dhamma, I realized I don't act according to memory anymore. I don't use my views, opinion and conditioning to react to things and stir and leave. No more. There is this understanding. The understanding comes from the wisdom that is been developed. Things is just the way they are. That's why I created my own understanding and share with you all. The world is the world. People are just the way they are. That one is from my past. So if you have this clear understanding, then you can see things as they are. You can accept the world for what it is. Like the Buddha said, condition like that, things be like that. Then seeing things as they are. People are just the way they are. Deluded people do deluded things. Foolish people do foolish things. Emotional people do emotional things. Angry people do angry things. Selfish people do selfish things. They are just the way they are. So this wisdom enable you to develop the understanding to see things as they are and to accept the reality of the moment. But whatever arises, there are causes and conditions behind, and that is the reality. Such that it cannot be otherwise. It has to be like that. So if you accept, you are at peace. Then you don't stir your mind, you don't project your thought, no more fear, no more worry, no more anxiety, no more analysis or argument or trying to be right and all those things or justification, no more. So when you don't analyze and don't do all these things, then you realize you have the wisdom to come to terms with the reality of the moment. Whatever that arises, like the Buddha said, there are causes and conditions. Once I understand this, I develop the wisdom to see things as they are and to accept the reality of the moment. Means I'm at peace. I don't stir my mind, I don't react, I don't create negativity. Then I act. Act with what? Noble Eightfold Path. Right view to accept all this. Leading to right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Then with samadhi and sati, the four right effort, everything fall into place, the Noble Eightfold Path. Then you resolve things amicably without negativity. That's how you live life. That's how you develop the understanding of life. That's how wisdom can come to be. Can follow?
Yes, bro, Joe.
So,
I get the three things.
yeah, slowly you go back, reflect, contemplate. Then when you meditate silent, then in the midst of life, develop the stability or awareness to see all this. Means you can be at the moment of contact, doesn't move. At the moment of feeling, it remains as pure feeling. That's why the aggregate become pure aggregate. You can be at the moment of perception, Sankhara activity at the moment of consciousness before the content go in. You can see them all.
That's why
Yes.
you say pure seeings or pure hearings before the content of consciousness go in. This is what something like last time when Asong experienced in the India, the visa, the immigration, where he stand there for 1 hour and he just see the mind, the thought, no thought. Is what you say, no stirring of mind, no content of consciousness.
I already explained to you earlier on. So if you know how to relate what I explained earlier on, then you will know what song experience is basically exactly that. You know why? Seeing things as they are means what? No words, understand? No concept, no mind to describe what that thing is. That is the truth, that is the reality. Like the baby without memory, without content, is sitting as they are, understand? The pure perception, where there is no word to form all those idea, concept, and words to describe all those things. They see things as they are. So like you described our song, he was like the whole session, 1 hour plus, without thought, nothing. It's just that movement, the activity, and that mind that is inside understand all this. That's why when you see things as they are, before the word, before the concept, that one, no word one. That one, everybody see also same one another. Because that is the pure seeing. In the seeing, it's just the seeing, that consciousness, understand? No one to see, just that pure consciousness. The hearing also same, the smell also same, but your stability of mindfulness must be there. So for Songske, it was the manifestation from the nature to let him see, to let him understand. But later on, he will develop the stability of daily mindfulness and see them in the midst of life. So when you see them in the midst of life, you become different again. Because this one, the nature will actually allow you to see. Then from there, that wisdom already come in. Come in, you don't have to remember one. Because that nature already have that realization. That's why he understands already. Then he can relate. Then after that, whatever truth is being spoken, he can understand. But the stability of it, he still need to go into the daily mindfulness, develop the stability of the daily mindfulness to have the direct seeing in the midst of life. Then every moment, every instant, like the 12 link, you can stay there at the link. It doesn't move. But that one only happen when you are during that time training. Then after it happened, the third phase, you go back to normal again. Then you don't have to do all these things already. Where you have gone through, you have realized. Then you become normal again. That's why your this supramundane mind become normal again. Because when it transformed that time, you like cannot think one. I told you 1989, I came out and test myself. I try to read the file and all those things. My nature tell me, you want to suffer, you go and read. Cannot read it. So I had to write down. I had to like keep note and all those things. With that phase, it transforms you, the direct seeing that time. That time the mind, the supermundane mind, all become very different. Then you can be there and do all these things. But after that, over a period of 9 months, I remember, when the mundane mind collapsed, then everything become different. Then I evolve and become normal again. Then that mundane mind is not like the supramundane mind. The mundane mind collapse, the supramundane mind come out. That supramundane mind is not like the mundane mind anymore. It's very fine. Inside there like no mind at all. So all those things that I gone through before the mundane mind collapse, that's why I knew at that time, if I don't write it down, I may not remember. But once there is condition, somebody bring it up, then I can recollect, because that nature will know what that thing is. Because this is not memory, this is understanding. That's why it need causes and condition to trigger off that understanding. Then the understanding inside the nature, you have means you have, you don't have means you don't have. So all this, you may develop the understanding, then slowly when you cultivate, all this will come back to you, and you will like the aha moment. You become like, oh, no wonder last time Brother Theo say this. Then you yourself will come to that understanding. Then everything like jigsaw puzzle fall into place. Then everything like become very clear to you one. Oh, totally different. Okay, clear?
Yes, Bro Teo. Thank you.
Sadhu. Any other thing to share?
Bro Teo is actually my questions, what I'm going to relate later. My question is, knowing the situations of my mind, what can I do to myself? Okay, the thing is I have a friend, secondary friends, her daughter get a straight A today. Somebody, SPM result, somebody mentioned in the WhatsApp group chat. So because I seldom met them, so I met the mothers 1-2 months ago, and the mothers say something that I busong lah.
Oh, okay.
So I remember this thing until now. So what happened is when I saw in the WhatsApp group about the daughter straight A, I congratulate her in the group chat, but deep down I know my congratulation or my happiness
Not
is
sincere.
not pure. Yes, it's not pure. It's because
Not
of the
sincere.
not sincere. It's because of the experience with the mother 1-2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I know Alicia has been stressed so much the importance of rejoicing. So I also hope to rejoice happily, you know. So I know I was not happy, you know, for her these things. So I know why I'm not happy. So
so how do you want to do it?
yeah, so and I know, Brother Teo, if the event of me, the encounter of me and the mother did not happen, in fact, I know I will privately message the mother and ask, hey, how your daughter's scholarships, you know, I will do these things. But I know I don't do now because of this. So I tell myself, I learned Buddhism for 10 years. Only today I come to this stage. I mean, not so today, Brother. Sometime in the past also, maybe these few years, I also know sometimes this situation like now happen. So I say, so I tell myself, 我还可以做什么？就是这样知道罢了，知道有鬼用啊。
Okay. I explain to you. Another 6 minutes, I will explain to you. You see, that's the reason why I say if it's still knowledge, it's of not much use. But at least for your case, you have moved beyond knowledge a bit. Means you know you are not sincere, understand or not? Means
Memory, Brother Teo, memory.
yeah lah, there is an awareness through memory that because you can have the awareness to feel it, whether you are sincere or not sincere. A lot of people, they are actually worse than you because they don't have the Dharma, they don't have the training. They are not even aware that they have this envy, jealousy, dislike. Because like you say, maybe 2 months ago, you don't like the mother because she must have said something that trigger off. Then what you do? Without mindfulness and the initial wisdom, yoniso manasikara, you accumulate that experience, understand not, into your brain, your memory, and that become your habitual tendency, understand not? That's why you register that as this lady, the mother, is like that one. So I will song. Understand now? Do this. Maybe she, I don't know what happened actually, but it could be any of this example. Like she tried to show off. She is maybe like try to praise herself.
Actually, brother, during the wedding, one of the wedding dinner, we are saying something, and the mother make a statement like, I think something that I say, she don't like it, and she respond
then
by
she reacted.
something that say, okay, okay, hey, it's okay to like, that's it. So we stop the conversations.
So that
she is actually 语气变 anger 了，大了啊，我就不爽，我就不出声
I
了。
mean, she is the way she is. Her views, her conditioning, her belief system is already set. So this is how she will perceive you, perceive the world, and perceive others. Maybe what you say must have hurt her. She song already. That's why she replied back in that way. And then you also entangle because both of you fail to see each other for what you are. When you cannot accept them for what they are, this thing trigger off the normal conditioning of your mind. Your perception of her and her perception of you. She perceives you in negativity, you perceive her with negativity. That's why this accumulate into habitual tendency. And this one is anusaya, asava, latent, waiting to erupt. That's why even you see in the WhatsApp, the doctor scores straight A, then you send congratulatory message, but you realize you are not sincere. You both song with her, understand? Nothing to do with the doctor, understand? The doctor did well. So why can't you just rejoice? It's because you don't have the stability of Yoniso Manasikara. For Alicia, they can rejoice is because they no longer have this what they call wrong view, negative tendency to react and all this. Because she saw all this, she straightened her view and realized what are wrong thought that continue. So this one has no power over them already. That's why when they see anything, they always see things as they are and perceive things with wholesomeness, no more negativity. A person can be that way in the past, doesn't mean he or she will always be like that. Understand? Even if they don't change, they are just the way they are. So acceptance of the world, of people, of whatever that arises is wisdom. If you cannot do that, means your stability or wisdom not there yet. That's why I say there is only knowledge. But you move slightly beyond knowledge because you know this knowledge that you have is not enough to act. Understand? Because like what you say just now, you know you are not sincere, but bo yong, understand? No use, understand? So you ask yourself that question, how can you become different? You have to straighten your view through an understanding, through a direct seeing, through the stability of mindfulness that understand all this very clearly. So don't worry, the time will come. Understand? As long
sadhu, brother Teo.
sadhu. As long as you can see it, then determine to go this way means cultivate, develop heedfulness, stability of mindfulness. Then on your own, develop the cultivation. Then one day, you suddenly are full of joy. You will come and share with everybody. Oh, brother, what you say is really true. Now, I got no more of this thought, no more of this negativity. Actually, that habitual tendency very difficult to root out one. Even Zhen Yan Fa Shi, no, Ci Ji one is what? Zhen Yan. She also wrote in her book, understand, the Wu Liang Yi Jing. Habitual tendency is very difficult to root out. Even Bodhisattva take a while. The stability of wisdom. You have to really do it. That's why I say, I even explained the song, and earlier on, I think Alicia, I say this habitual tendency not so fast gone on. Initially, after you develop the initial wisdom, then starts to stabilize your wisdom, you realize initially, at the moment of sense experience, it still move, understand or not? But the moment it move, the yoniso manasikara come out, understand or not? And then it subside. So like what Alicia gone through. He said, Anna, you have been tormenting me for the last 16 years. So the moment he see that and understand, the thing subside. But after a while, maybe after a few months of cultivation and stability on that, it can't even arise. Like the Buddha said, you come to know in the future they will not arise anymore. Why? Because you have gone beyond the stability of wisdom, understanding, the straightening of you. Then that Yoniso Manasikara straight away will surface. He is the way he is. Then you develop that understanding to actually radiate metta and develop compassion, love. Then you wish them well-being, and you sometimes arise the compassion within you. You actually develop understanding of the way they are, like Jesus. Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. All this word can come out. They are just the way they are, living being. Because of avijja, they stir their mind. Because of avijja, they create the egoic mind, the personality. They think, they grasp, they create delusion. They stir their mind, they entangle themselves. So out of love and compassion, you develop that understanding. Then you wish people well. Then you vow to take living being across the four basic vows of the Bodhisattva. Then from there you move. That's why those who go with the understanding, their faith very strong, they really vow, like what Alicia they all went through. The vow becomes so strong, unshakable. So all these are possible and can happen. Okay? Sui.
Amitabha Kayanavidas. I wanted to add something because the two questions I saw that it was related. So the analogy about seeing, because that is a simple illustration of how everything needs condition in order for the consciousness of seeing to arise. So for this situation where there was something like a quarrel to feel Bosong, right? There were a lot of causes and conditions also. So for both of you to be in the same place, to be able to, out of 100 of people sit in that same building, to sit there, have that conversation, and for her to shout at you, and for you to shout at her, all this is not a simple thing as she should not do that. When you say she should not do that, means she shouldn't have the karma to be next to you, and you shouldn't have the karma to have that trigger to say those things. That venue also shouldn't have the kind of condition to make both of you feel that way. That means you are ignoring, deny, like 否认 karma. Because karma brought all of you together and let this flower, the consciousness arise. And then, but you are saying, 不应该 shouldn't happen, she shouldn't be like this. That means you are not accepting it. So that's how I saw it. If condition arising means there's no should or should not. A lot of things have to be in place for something to happen. So whether you perceive with negativity or positivity is really up to you, up to us. So if I want to perceive it with positivity, is the opportunity for this to arise as a question for us to reflect on. That's a very good thing. I think something wholesome came out of it. Yeah.
Okay, very good, Sadhu. So all this is like what Soo Yee explained, because there are a lot of what they call karmic conditioning behind. Like the Buddha said, we are all born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditions for the you are what you are because of. So likewise she is. So all this created the causes and condition for it to manifest. That's why acceptance free. The moment you don't have that wisdom to accept through right view, right understanding, following Noble Eightfold Path, the whole cultivation is not there. It becomes knowledge. Then you try to use your reasoning, your analysis through knowledge and all those things. That's why most cultivators of the way, before they develop the awareness-based meditation, they fall into this trap of knowledge, Dhamma knowledge, and they cannot break free.
Good evening, Radio. Actually, 我想 add 一点点罢了。
可以
以前我在 cultivate 的时候，我是这样的，我是说，我不懂在哪里听到，还是 Brother 就经常讲，Nobody make you happy and nobody can make you unhappy.
Yeah, correct. 我讲了
所以我就从这个我就在 reflect whatever happen 哦，都是我们自己的 self delusion。
对。
我从 break free.
Sadhu. Very good. That was very good. 很好啊。Because 以前 I used to share this. We hold the key to our own life destiny. To be happy or to be unhappy is entirely our choice. Understand? No? So choose to be happy. Because in this world, nobody can make you unhappy. You only become unhappy when you react to what they say and what they do. Means you perceive the situation with negativity. But the reality is, thing is just the way it is. So that understanding is not easy to stabilize unless you have the mindfulness to see and understand that they are just the way they are. That everything is dependent, originating, conditional. Then not until that stability or understanding arises, you cannot develop that contemplation like Alicia gone through. Although she heard that word, that is like a pointer, no? But she can do it because she has the stability of mindfulness and awareness to understand what constitutes wrong thought and all those things. That's why she reversed her understanding, straightened her view, and actually come out of the depression, 16 years. Then from there, she cultivated all the wholesome thought, all the what they call compassionate, loving, the contentment, humility, everything that is related to all the right thought, right speech, right action, and right livelihood. All this Noble Eightfold Path virtue, it starts to manifest. That's how you change. That's how you transform. So cultivation, you need understanding that stabilize your mindfulness, develop the ability to observe, see, and awaken. Then contemplate, reflect, stabilize all this. Then one day, when all this fall into place, slowly you will become different. You will transform. Even for Soo Yee's case, her approach to meditation is different because she is more intellect one. She developed clearer. She is the IT guy on. The IT one, they don't like, not like our old generation. Our old generation, we need to see the full picture, the thing and all things. Then from the big picture, then only we zero in. For her, it's different. He identified the problem, he resolved it, understand? And she can do it because her approach is like that. And she developed through intellect understanding. But the mindfulness, once she stabilized, she will move very fast, very, very fast. Because the intellect is ahead, understand? And the intellect comes with faith and understanding over the year. She contemplates. Although she started initially following her own way, she used the interdependent one. She able to see like everything is no coincidence. You need a lot of condition for even simple thing to happen, to arise. That's why from there, she goes into the interdependent. The Paticca Samuppada can only arise when her mindfulness stabilizes. But she do it the other way, the reverse way, through the intellect understanding, because her nature is like that. So she learned like that. That's why in the retreat you see her explain. She draw all the picture and all those things. Then the movement, yes, she can see, she can trace all those things. Although her mindfulness not that stable yet, but she got the clarity of mind and the understanding. So the intellect part is the one that actually move her. Then later on, when she stabilize her mindfulness aware, she will move very fast. And she will understand a lot of these things that I share in a very deep manner. Then she become very different. Then when she locate the gateway, she will move very, very different. But all this has its timing. So don't be like in a hurry or like very keen to make it happen. No need, let things be. Then when the time comes, you just move. And without you realizing it, all this just happen. Like you look at a lot of Kaya Metta. It's from nowhere, even Puja and Alicia, they are, and some of the song in video. They just develop the faith, they just cultivate. Then somehow things happen and it manifests. Then it becomes like, oh, that is what it is. So the understanding suddenly arises. So this is beautiful sharing. So because late already, we have to end. 10:43 already, sorry. So let us rejoice. Sadhu, 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 before the good condition and the good sharing. So go back and listen to this sharing. It will help you a lot. Okay, let us share merits. Akasata cha bumata deva naga mahindika punyang tang anamoditwa cirang rakantu loka sasana itta wata ca amehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anudantu sampati siddhya idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyateyo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyateyo idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyateyo devo asadukalena sasa sampati hetu cha Vito bhavatu loko cha raja bhavatu damiko imina punyang kamina mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yawa nivana patiya sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, you can pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and the worthy one. Then we end. Thank you. Sadhu.